Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakruto Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. We have been studying Badarayana Vyasa's Sharirika Mimamsa Shastra, popularly known as Brahma Sutra, and we are interested in the first four sutras called Chatusutri, with Shankaracharya's commentary. And in the beginning, in the introductory commentary called Adhyasavasya, Shankara has shown that our life today is based upon this contradiction, because consciousness, which is denoted by the word I, can have no relation with matter denoted by the word you. And so, we cannot substitute Atman for consciousness for matter or matter for consciousness. We cannot superimpose the characteristics of consciousness on matter and characteristics of matter on consciousness logically by any logic. And yet, our practical life as our natural behavior is only a result of superimposition, which is based upon wrong knowledge. We have coupled reality and unreality in such a way that we cannot understand what we are. And so we say we die. It is superimposition of consciousness on matter and matter of consciousness. So all these ideas are due to, they are the root of all the problems of life. All the problems, remember, whether it is economic problem, social problem, financial problem, philosophic problem, psychological problem, all problem of understanding, education, any problem in the world, the root is the contradiction. And so the right knowledge is the only way to remove this wrong knowledge. And so we come to Vedantas, that is Upanishads. The Upanishads are necessary to study because that contains right knowledge. And then when we came to the first sutra, Atha Ato Brahma Jigyasa, Atha means now, now means in continuation of our self-effort at trying to know the reality, trying to get the real knowledge. And that self-effort follows Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadama, Uparati, Titiksha, Samadhana, Shraddha, and Mumuksha. That is what it follows. In continuation with this, the desire arises. And why we want to know Brahman? Because the Vedas themselves have said that by karma kanda, following the ritualistic portion of the Vedas, you can go to heaven, but that will not end your problems. That will not give you the fulfillment of life. And on the other hand, they have declared that if you get the right knowledge, if you know what you are, if you know what the world is, then your problems are over and you will feel fulfillment of life. And so, therefore, we have to study Vedanta. And then the last word is Brahma Jigyasa. Shankaracharya has told us that the samasa is in the possessive case. Brahmana Jigyasa is Brahma Jigyasa, and the Shashti, that possessive case, does not denote a general relation between Brahma and Jigyasa, but denotes the object Brahman to be known through this Jigyasa. We are not interested in knowing everything about Brahman. We are interested in knowing Brahman. And in order to know Brahman, whatever is necessary, we shall definitely know. But if you try to know everything about Brahman, the mind gets digressed, and that is no focus for realizing Brahman. Then, what is Brahman? He says, by the word Brahma, we understand it being the greatest. It must be of the nature that it must be eternal, unchangingly eternal, pure, awakened or knowing, consciousness, free, that will be its nature, and it will be all knower, and it will be all powerful also. That we derive by the very meaning of the word Brahman, because it has to be greatest. Now, the question is, whether Brahman is known or not. It is known by the very word itself. And in addition to that, Brahman is our reality. And everybody knows that I exist. Nobody says I do not exist. So, Brahman is known. Then, if it is known, then as oneself, as my own self, then what is the need to know further? The need arises from the fact that I know that I exist, but what I am that I do not know. What is the nature of this Brahman, I do not know. And because for the specific nature of Brahman, Vishesha Prati, na tat Vishesha Prati Vipratipatte. About the specific nature of Brahman, there are hundreds of opinions. And so, he has given us some opinions. That some people feel body itself is conscious, that is myself. Some people feel my indriyas, my organs are conscious, that is myself. Some people feel my mind is conscious, and that is myself. Some people feel that the consciousness playing in my mind is myself. And it is temporary, momentary. The momentary consciousness playing in my mind. You understand? I see this, I know that, I feel this, I play, I eat. These are momentary, changing every second. And this is my real nature. And so, some conclude that then I am zero. I am unreal. Because what I am? Some vibrations, every moment different. How can I be that? So I am not there at all. So many opinions are there about the specific nature of Brahman. Some more are there. They say that other than this body, indriyas, mind, etc., there is myself, and it transmigrates. It goes from birth to death to birth continuously, because it is the doer and it is the experiencer. Because that is the common Indian man's knowledge of himself, is that he will have to transmigrate, because he is the doer and he is the experiencer. I am not the body or the mind, but I am the consciousness associated with this body and the mind. And so, that is what people think. That is what I would say in India, maximum people think like that. Then the Sankhya philosophers say, it is only the experiencer, it is not the doer. Then others are there. who says that other than me, there is God. The original proposition is that Brahman, the all-pervading reality, is my real nature. That is the original statement. But some people feel, no, I am a transmigratory soul and there is a God, another common knowledge in India, that I am like this and there is a God who is ruler over me, who is different from this. He is Sarvajna, always in their mouth, he, in common man's. God is like that, I am like this. God is like that, I am like this. Continuously the man thinks like that. Then some people say that I am a bhakta, enjoyer, experiencer. He is my reality. So they differentiate like this. I am enjoyer and he is my reality. He is not outside me, he is my reality, but I am there separate from him. These have been arranged by Shankaracharya in such a way that one idea is higher than the other. But higher or lower, they are all wrong. That I am experiencer and he is my reality. So I am not my reality. He is my reality. I am separate from him, enjoyer. Evam bahava vipratipannaha. So like this, many are there who are vipratipanna, have different ideas. Yukti vakya tadabhasa samashraya santa. Yukti vakya tadabhasa samashraya santa. That means they have their own logic, which is not correct. It is an appearance of logic. It is a shadow of logic. It is something like logic, not correct logic. And they take resort to that. And Vakya, that means from Upanishads themselves, they find sentences in support of their ideas. And that is not the meaning of the Upanishads. So, an appearance, semblance of a sentence they get from the Upanishads to support their position. And so their opinion becomes strong because this is logical, they say, and this is supportable in the Upanishads, they say. And so their wrong ideas become very firmly rooted in them. Up to this we had read last time. Tatra avicharya yat kinchit pratipadyamanaha nishreyasat pratihanneta anartham cha iyat. Now, without proper analysis, if we take any of this or anything that arises in our mind, without a proper analysis, if we take any of these opinions, any of these sides, or anything else which appears in our mind, then we'll miss our goal of life. We'll miss the real fulfillment of life. We'll miss the ultimate benefit which we can derive from the knowledge. Nishreyasa. Nishreyasa is the name of moksha. Nishreyasa is the name of ultimate auspiciousness, ultimate welfare. We'll miss our ultimate welfare. Anartham chayat. And not only that, some people will say, okay, if we do not realize our real nature, what harm is there? We are living the life. No, then all the problems are there which were told in the beginning. The wrong knowledge is the root of all the problems. So we'll fall into problems, and that is what we are today. So why it is imperative to analytically understand our real nature is because if we, without thinking properly, if we follow any of these tracks, then we'll not only miss the goal, but will be subject to all problems of life. That is what is happening today. Tasmat, therefore, Brahma Jigyasa Upanyasa Mukhena Vedanta Vakya Mimamsa Tat Avirodhi Tarka Upakarana Nishreyasa Prayojana Prastuyate. So here, like the Anubandha Chatushtaya, the statement is there. So purpose is Nishreyas. Purpose is ultimate benefit to us. Purpose is fulfillment of life. Purpose is freedom. And for that, Vedanta Vakya Mimamsa. We have to analytically understand the sentences of the Upanishads. We have to critically understand what they really mean. Because the truth is transcendental. And the Upanishads have to use the language which you use. And so, the truths remain hidden unless we properly know how to find the meaning analytically. And Brahma Jigyasa Upanyasa Mukhena. So, Brahma Jigyasa. Jigyasa, what we have missed while dealing, that a desire, because like this, Brahman is there, so a desire has to take place. And the how to fulfill it, this should be our search. And this desire is unstoppable till we realize the full nature of reality. So, Brahmana, we have understood the relation, we understood the meaning of Brahman temporarily, and Jigyasa word means that a desire should arise and search should be on for how to get it fulfilled. These are the 2 points. A desire should arise. The keen desire to realize Brahman should arise. And we shall search for in Vedanta, in Upanishads, which are the repository of real knowledge. There we should approach to get the way to realize that Brahman. The desire to realize should come, and we have to approach Upanishads to get that real nature. Otherwise, all these problems are there. And so, what Bhagavan Vyasa has done is that he has analyzed the Vedanta. And one more means we have. One more means we have here. That is not our logic, but logic corresponding to what the Shrutis are telling. That avirodhi tarka upakarana. Upakarana means additional means. Auxiliary means, additional means, assistant means, upakarana. What? Logic, buddhi, understanding. That avirodhi. We should not go in an opposite direction than what the rishis are doing. The so-called free thinking is of no use. Thinking is there, but thinking should be to understand what the rishis are telling. Thinking should be in correspondence with because the rishis experience, their direct experience, and their direct experience they are conveying to us. But to catch this experience, we should use our intellect. Our intellect should not be made to develop new theories. Our intellect should be developed to follow what the rishis have said. Our intellect should follow, get logic corresponding to what the rishis have said. So that is, he will explain further. A beauty of the Vedanta is this, that it is not dogmatic. Because the rishis are saying this, accept it blindly, that it is not telling. But what the rishis are saying is true. What I feel is contradictory. This one must understand. What the rishis are telling is true. And what I feel is contradictory based upon the wrong knowledge that has been shown very clearly. So I have to follow the rishis. But I can use my intellect also. I can use my reasoning faculty also, if it does not contradict what the rishis are telling. What the rishis are telling is my guide. What the rishis are telling is true. They have experienced Brahman and they are telling it to me. But a man is a thinking animal. A man is a thinking being. And so they call man a thinking animal. So I used it. Man is a thinking being. And so he has the reasoning. He has logic at his command. And that is one of our problems. We cannot stop thinking. I'll give you an illustration. People ask Bhagwan Buddha, please tell us about the nature of Atman. He said, no, I will not tell about the nature of Atman. Stop thinking about the nature of Atman. See your practical life. Help the poor. Now that led to hundreds of philosophies under Buddhism. Man cannot stop thinking. So Bhagavan Buddha says, stop thinking. What does it mean? Atma does not exist. Whether we see the world is real or not. So four main schools, but hundreds of schools started in Buddhism because man cannot stop thinking. And so Vasudev understands this. And he says, okay, you use your thinking, not opposite to what the Vedas are saying. So that is an important point of Vedanta, that you are allowed to use your thinking. Let your thinking have full scope, but not free thinking. Let your thinking have full scope to, which is not opposite to what the rishis are telling. Prayojana prastuyate. So Bhagavan Vyasa has presented before us, he has presented the logic also in correspondence with what the rishis are telling, not something new or brilliant, original. But he has presented what the rishis are telling in a proper way, and also he has given logic to support what the rishis are telling. So we come to the second sutra. And in introduction to the second sutra, Shankaracharya is telling, remember, what was told in the first sutra? Brahma jigyasitavyam iti uktam. That there should be desire to know Brahman, keen desire, unstoppable desire to realize the experience, what is the exact characteristics of our reality, and we must search in the Upanishads for the ways to fulfill that desire. Jigyasitavyam includes both these things, that there should be the keen, unstoppable desire, and we should find the means of fulfilling it through the Vedanta. Kim lakshana punah tad brahma iti. Ata Bhagavan Sutrakara. Now, what is the characteristics of that reality? That is the main thing. What are the characteristics of that reality? That is what now Bhagavan Badarayana Vyas is telling us. Shankar does not call it by Vyas name. We have seen that. Here he does not use any name also. Bhagavan Sutrakara. One who has given us these aphorisms, the revered sage who has given us these aphorisms, is telling us that he is giving us now Upanishad sentences and supportive logic so that we shall be able to realize the reality. Then, Sutra. Janma adi asya yatah. Janma adi yas asya yatah. So the central word is asya. What is asya? Asya is Shashti again for this. Of this. What is this? Anything which we experience is this. Anything which our senses bring to us, anything which our Anuman, Upman, Arthapatti, Praman bring to us, anything which people tell us. So all this comes under the word idam. Idam means this. This means not something remote. This means something nearer. Nearest means what the senses have brought near us. Nearest means what the people who are teaching us, they have brought near us. Nearest means whatever logic and all these things bring us, that is near us. And that, asya, of that what? Janma adi. Janma adi is not in English birth, etc., not etc. Janma adi has a definite meaning. That something, a chain, starting from the word Janma. Janma adi is samas. Shankaracharya will explain, Tadguna Samvijnana Bahuri. That means something, not Janma, something of which a series, of which Janma is the first point. That is Janma Adi. Janma Adi is something of which birth is the first point. That means Srishti Sthiti Pralay. That means creation, preservation and destruction. That is Janma Adi. Asya, of this universe, of this world, of our experience or imagination or whatever. Yata, from whom? From whom? Or the cause from whom it has come. That is Brahman. The definition of Brahman, you see, the idea is from known to unknown. That is the idea. Brahman could have been defined in so many ways. But the Rishi is using here the method which we call from known to unknown. We know this world, rightly or wrongly, but we know it. Now, we also know that the world does not exist. Everything in the world is born sometimes. So the whole world is born sometime. And it stays, it continues for some time. Though it goes on changing, it is continuous for some time. And then it goes to destruction. By observation, we find that everything in the world is born, stays, and goes into destruction. Our mind then jumps upon the generalization that the whole world is born, stays for some time, and goes into destruction. So it must be cause. There must be some cause of it. And that cause, if we search, then from this known world, we shall go to that unknown Brahman. Brahman is known as our reality. Beyond that, we do not know anything. Brahman is our reality, reality of the whole world that we know. We know that Brahman is all knower and all powerful, but that is not sufficient to know. We must realize the very nature of Brahman, the specific nature of Brahman. And so, how to realize? Connect it with what we know today. Connect it with what we know today. We know the world. We know I experience this world. This is what we know. An important point I'm telling, asya means of this. This is not only the objective world. This is my experience of the objective world. This means I see the world. This is what I know. My immediate knowledge is I know this world. I play, I eat. This also I know. Not only the world, but my activities also come under this. And my knowledge of the world. I see this world, I feel this touch, I smell this, I eat this. This is the meaning of the word this. This is not only the objective world. Here a big mistake we should be saved. I have heard people telling that the world is unreal, I am Brahman. It is a madness. Shankaracharya has said in a place in Chandogya Upanishad Bhashya that if the world is unreal, the I who is experiencing the world also is unreal. If I is real, then the whole world experience also is real. Sarvam Kalo Idam Brahma. This is an important point, please. This means my experience. This means my immediate experience. This means something which I know very directly. And what do I know? I know that I see this world. I equally know that I play. I equally know I eat. I eat rice, of course. I play football. So, some object is there, but I am there. So, this what is called Triputi in Vedanta. This is this. And we make a big mistake if we take only the object. That is the method of science or Western method. Take for granted that the world is an object and go on analyzing it. We are not sure that the outside world exists. We are not sure. What we are sure is that I experience the world, that I am sure. I and you experience the world, about that I am sure. Whether the world outside exists or not, nobody can be sure. Because without the world outside also I can experience. I can experience subjectively, or in the yoga methods, if I heighten my powers, I can have a very beautiful smell. I can have a beautiful taste without the world existing. So I'm not sure whether the world exists or not. That is a big mistake which science does. Take the world for granted object and analyze. No. Vedanta or any Indian philosophy is called critic of the experience, not critic of the objects. Critique of a human experience. That is Vedanta. Critique means critical, analytical understanding of human experience, not objects. Objects are taken for granted without verification. Whether your indriyas are bringing you real experience or distorting it, how do we know? Reflection, reaction, no. I experience the world is a fact. And about this, I experience the world, Shankaracharya told in the beginning, that this is born out of coupling of reality and unreality. This is contradictory. And so, no, philosophers like Kant or others or the Vedanta, they will show that you do not experience the world. What you experience is a distorted picture in your mind. Your mind becomes involved when you go to experience this world. So we are sure that I am experiencing the world. This is this. And of this, the birth. The birth, I would put in a different language. The birth of a subject-object world. The birth of a subject-object world. The maintenance of a subject-object world. The destruction of the subject-object world. From whom it has come. From whom I have come. From whom I, the experiencer, has come. From whom I experience the world has come. From whom the world of my experience has come. And in whom it stays. And when it goes out of existence, where does it go? That is Janma Adi. Of this means the world of my experience. Yata, the source of this, the cause of this, from where it comes, that is Brahman. So from the known, we will approach the unknown. Now this is the sutra. Now Shankar's explanation. What is Janma? Utpatti, being born. That means it is not there, now we see it, that is being born. A jar was not there, from clay it was made, it is born. A tree was not there, it sprouted, so it is born. I was not there, I have come into existence, so I am born. The whole world of subject-object dealing was not there, it has become born. That is Utpatti. Adi asya iti tadguna samvigyano bhaurihi. Here we have to understand this grammar critically. Meaning I have told you. Meaning is that a series of something starting with birth. Now, there are compounds. Janmadi is a compound word. Janma, Adi are not two separate words. Janmadi is a compounded word. And how many types of compound are there in the grammar? One is Tatpurusha Samas. That means Rama's son or Brahmana Jigyasa. That is the one type of Samas. Then Karmadharaya Samas. That is something is adjective of the adjective qualified people. Then there is Dvanda Samas, Rama and Lakshman, Rama Lakshmana. There is a Samas called Bahuvrihi Samas. Bahuvrihi Samas means some third object, neither the first nor the second. There are two words in a Samas, at least minimum, and the meaning will neither be this nor be that. Neither this is main, neither that is main. The meaning is something third. That is called Bahuvrihi Samas. Now, whether one of these will be included or not included is a different question. Whether two words are there, whether any of these will be included in the meaning, that word alone is not the meaning definitely, it is Bahuri. But there are some Bahuris in which one of the words will also be included. That is called Tad Guna Samvigyano. Tad Guna Samvigyano Bahuri means a Bahuri Samas, a Samas which gives some other meaning, but which includes one of the meaning of one of the words also. So Janma Adi means Janma included. Bahuri means a series. Janma, and what is that series? Birth, maintenance, and destruction. So, birth, maintenance, and destruction is a series, which is the meaning of the word Janma Adi. Janma Adi is Bahuri Samas, including, which includes the meaning of the first word Janma. Understood clearly? Janma Utpatti Adi Asya iti Tadguna Samvigyano Bahuri. So it is a Bahuri Samas, some other meaning comes, but that meaning includes the meaning of the first word. So Janma is not the etc. Janma, Sthiti and Pralay. That is the meaning. So he explains the meaning. First he tells the nature of the Samas. And then he so applies that. Janma Sthiti Bhangam Samasartha. So the meaning of the whole compound is Janma, Sthiti, stays for some time, and Bhangam breaks away. Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya are the normal words, but Shankar has used their very common used word. Birth, staying for some time, and then breaking away. That is the meaning of this Sama. Janmadi. No. The first is Janma. In this Samaj, the first is Janma. Janmana cha aditvam shruti nirdesha apeksham vastu vrutta apeksham cha. So we must think from known to unknown we are going. And how we have to think? First, we have to think from where it is born. From where it is born, we should think first. Because when we think of the world as it appears to us, that impinges upon our mind as very much real. We experience so it is real. It's a common argument. So the thinking from known to unknown should start like this, that once upon a time, the world was not there. It was created. So the start should be the creation first. That means you have to think of a state where the world was not there. So it comes into existence. That is the Janmanacha Aditvam. In this series, Janma has to be thought of first because Shruti Nirdesha Apeksham, that is what the Vedanta is telling us. Vastu Vrutta Apeksham cha. And also what we see facts in the world also, from the facts observed of this world also, Janma has to be taken first. And from the Rishi Vakyas also, Janma has to be taken first. What is the meaning? What is the implication? That we should not deal with the world as it exists first. We will deal with it, but not first. First, we must deal that there was a time when the world was not there and it came into existence. Then from the known, we can go to the unknown. So from known to go to the unknown, from the world we see, we have to go to the cause. The first should be to think that the world was not there and it has come into existence. Janma Adi. That is Shruti Nirdesha Apeksham. That is what the Upanishads have told us. Vastu Vrutta Apeksham Cha. And that is according to facts which we observe in life. How Shruti Nirdesha Tavat Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Taittiriya Upanishad, third Valli, first mantra. And these are mantra pratikas. What Shankar quotes is the pratikas, is the part of the sutra. And we must think of the whole sutra, the context of the sutra to get at this result. So what is this sentence? Bhrigu. The Taittiriya Upanishad third only starts like this. Bhrigu was the son of Varuna. He approached his father. Sir, teach me Brahman. That means, you see, Brahman was known to him and he wants to know the real nature of Brahman. So he went to his father and said, Father, teach me Brahman. Then what he told him? He gave him some what we call data. Annam, prana, mind, etc., etc. And he gave him the direction of how to think. And the direction he gave, this direction. Yatova imani bhutani jayante, yena jatani jivanti, yat pravishanti, yat prayam pravishanti, tad vijigyasasva, tad brahma iti. So, this is so think of this, try to realize this, that is Brahman. That is what Varuna told Bhrigu. So he says, see, he told Janma first. And so, according to Shrutis, one should think of the Janma first. Asmin Vakya, in this sentence, Janma Sthiti Pralayanam Kramadarshana. So he has first told about Janma, then Sthiti, and then Pralaya. So we must follow this order to think, to know the unknown from the known. Vastu Vrittam api, and see the facts of observation in this life. Janmana labda satta kasya dharmina sthiti pralaya sambhavat. A thing is born, then it has got some existence. Labda sattaka. Labda sattaka means got some reality, got some existence. What thing got existence? Which was born. Unless a thing is born, how can we think of it? So, first is birth, according to our observation, that a thing is born, it has got some existence, dharmina. That is the characteristics of something. Something is born first. Sthiti pralaya sambhava. Then it is possible that it will be maintained for some time. Then it will be possible that after maintaining for some time, it will go into destruction. So this order of Janma Sthiti Pralaya is according to our general observation also. If the thing is not born, how it will remain in existence? If the thing is not yet born, how it will go to destruction? So, according to what the rishis have told, and also according to our normal observation, we must think of the reality unknown as something from which the world is born. Then we should think that very thing, the world is sustained. And to that very thing, the world returns. So in this way, we have to think. Now, Janma Adi, he has explained in this way. Then Asya. Asya of this. Asya iti pratyaksha adi sannidapitasya dharmina idama nirdesha. Idama nirdesha means Asya is the shashti or possessive case of idam. So the original word is idam. In Sanskrit, the case endings are attached to the word and the word becomes changed. In English, add, to, on, from, this is not in this style in the Sanskrit. The case ending is, with the help of that, the word itself gets a different form. So, asya means we are thinking of idam. Shankaracharya tells that by the word asya, we are thinking of idam. And what is idam? Pratyaksha adi sandhidapitasya dharmina. That something which has been brought sandhidapitasya, near to us, close to us. Pratyaksha adi. Adi, again, that means pratyaksha praman, anuman praman, arthapatti praman, upaman praman, anupalabdhi praman, shabda praman. So by various means of knowledge, something has been brought near us. Something has been brought near us by various means of knowledge. That is idam. Idam a nirdesha. A means like this. Idam in single quotation. That is idam a. The nirdesha or indication is this in single quoted form of something which has been brought near us. That means not that, not remote. Something which has been brought near us by pratyaksha praman or any of the means of knowledge. By direct perception or by any other means of knowledge, something has been brought near us, that is called idam. And asya is this possessive case ending of that idam. Now asya is shashti. Shashti, janma adi dharma sambandhartha. of this. Of this means birth, etc. of this. So the word Shashti or possessive case is used here to connect idam with Janma, Sthiti, Pralaya. Idam means I experience this world. Connect this with its birth. Connect it with its maintenance. Connect it with its destruction. For that, asya is used. Then last word, yata iti karana nirdesha. The cause is indicated by yata. Yata means from which. From what? So cause, that means cause. So from what indicates the cause. So the meaning becomes asya jagata nama rupabhyam vyakritasya अनेक कर्तृभोक्तृ संयुक्तस्य प्रतिनियत देश काल निमित्त क्रियाफलाश्रयस्य मनसापि अचिन्त्य रचना रूपस्य जन्म स्थिति भंगम यतः सर्वज्ञात सर्वशक्ते कारणात् भवति तद ब्रह्म इति वाक्यशेषः. जन्मादि अस्य वता is not a full sentence. So how to complete this sentence is like this. Vakya Shesha means to complete this sentence, Janmadi Asya Yata, we'll have to use Asya Jagata, Nama Rupabhyam Vakrutasya, Aneka Kartru Bhaktru Sanyuktasya. So, this world of our experience. What is experience? Names and forms. The world of our experience means the world of manifested names and forms. Forms continuously change, but there is a name on that form. And because I so and so is a name, so this form appears real. I see, touch also are names, then that process becomes real. And this Rama, Shama, table, chair, they are names, due to which the continuously changing form gets reality. So manifested by names and forms. Aneka kartru bhaktu sayuktas. In that not one. Many say that I am the doer. Many feel that they are the doers. Many feel they are the enjoyers or experiencer. Sayuktasya. That means they are present in this world. In this world are present many infinite, innumerable people feeling they are the doer, they are the experiencer. Pratiniyata Deshakala Nimitta Kriya Phalashkas. And then we find some rules in the world, some order in this world, space, time, the cause, the action, and the result, a fixed order. We see in this world, things move in a particular order. If you hit a glass piece, it will break. If you cook the food, raw food, it will become eatable food. So, what is this world is explaining? What is this world which is known to us is explaining? Already which is known to us. But we have to understand it analytically, critically. So, Namarupabhyam Akrutasya, this world manifested due to names and forms in which there are innumerable doers and innumerable people doing something, innumerable people enjoying or experiencing something. And in a orderly manner, where time, place, and the causes result in some action, and that action results in some fruit, that is the ashrayasya, the support of such a phenomenon. This world is a support of Deshakala Nimitta Kriya Phala. In this world are space, in this world are time, in this world is some causes, in this world is some action, in this world is the fruit of those actions. Pratiniyata. They are fixed in a regulated way. Manasapi achintya rachana rupasya. Now, we imagine by mind only, but to emphasize that Shankar says, we cannot even imagine what is this world. What narupam asya ita tatopalabhyate in the Gita it is said. It is impossible to imagine even what is the world. Let me tell you a story on this point. Please do not mind if some political language comes in. The West Bengal state in India was ruled for a long time by the what we generally call the leftist or communist parties. And their brain would be in Moscow. So they invited some Russian experts to study the civic problems of Calcutta and to suggest the solutions. They came and they studied for 6 months. And they say, we are not able to understand even the problems of the civic problems of Calcutta. But our mind has undergone a change. We believe in God now. Such Calcutta runs in an orderly way. Such Calcutta of whom we are not able to understand properly the problems even, and such Calcutta is running. So there has to be a God. That is a story. So Shankar says, Achinta Rachana Rupasya. Even to think, now who should be the architect of such thing? Who should be the person? Not I or you. He must be Sarvajna Sarvashaktiman. Janma Sthiti Bhangam Yata. To think of creating this world, to think of maintaining this world, to think of dissolving this world, the cause must be all-knower, all-powerful, because if he knows but cannot do, then what will happen? If he has lot of power but no knowledge, then it can happen. So Sarvajna Shaktimat Sarva Shakti Karanat Bhavati, from that call, Tad Brahma iti Vakyashesha. That is the Brahman which we are searching for. That is the Brahman which we want to realize. So connecting known to unknown, in this way it is happening. That first we should think of the birth, then the maintain, then the destruction. And what is this? This is Achinta Rachana Rupa world. And add to that our experiences. This is the world, Achinta Rachana Rupa. It includes innumerable kartas and bhaktas, doers and enjoyers. It is only the manifestation of names and forms. And such a world, somebody creates and maintains and destroys. So, it must be from some all-knowing, all-powerful cause. This is the Janmadi Asya Yata. So, we'll take up this further next Wednesday. Beautiful way we are proceeding now, from known to unknown, in this particular order. Om Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. श्री राम कृष्ण अर्पण।